That's all I could do, mama.
Toddy, God almighty, it's the Triple Option Podcast. That double feedback you're hearing on Facebook Live on Steve Fantetti. Well, let's do the real intro. Number 4 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. Give it up for Mr. Steve Fantetti.
Good morning.
That's that phone you hear is mine. I got to turn it off. Not professional at all.
Good pod.
Feeling high off a Gator win against the powerhouse.
Whoa.
First thing. We gotta.
Butch Jones was offering donuts yesterday. I got offered donuts. You good?
Let's see. Yeah, let's see. He offered one up to the opposing team as well. So
that's true.
I'm gonna go with this one right here.
That's about the only important work he did yesterday. Locked.
I'm good right now. The worst
thing on Mike,
like dad bod mode is scary.
Well, the worst thing on a podcast is to hear someone eat, and I've got to hide my badass tank top because
Shaq does it all the time on his podcast.
Well, yeah, there you go. He's probably got I can't imagine what his podcast is like. It's probably like
it's awesome. I listen to it every week.
I wish if Charles Barkley called in every week, I'd probably listen because they're the best. Yeah. But our Mevo camera doing this live stream, which we'll put on YouTube later. Subscribe to that channel. It's catching my Patrick Swayze tank top, so I got to cover it with my laptop because it gets any face. And we've got a skull. We got a couple of skulls behind us, a lion.
That's great.
And so
it's been
it's been catching that.
That's funny.
It uses that same Facebook face technology.
That's great.
Sees eyes and a nose, and it's like, oh, that's a person. So if it's a little janky on the feed, that's why. But I'm watching it as we're going. What else we got? Twitter. What's our handle? 3XO Pod. At 3XO Pod? Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how the kids tweet.
And Chad's here, too, in case you forgot.
Yeah, Chad. Yeah. Chad Sweetum.
Yeah, it's okay.
On the third mic. I'm sorry.
The sound man, as I call him.
You got me distracted with donuts. And
I did.
I got tech issues and whatnot. So there goes my phone. But where do you want to begin? I think Steve's got a couple conspiracy theories in the hopper.
I do in the hopper.
Wow.
They're still marinating. I have a couple more sources, so give me a couple more minutes. And then
all right.
Okay.
Check sources
I'm just trying to confirm the inaccuracies of these things.
I'll go ahead and give him a little bit of a mini rant about this part of the season. Kind of sucks.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Okay, tell me why for you.
Okay, because everybody, I don't like the way the schedules are. I kind of talked about this last week or the week before, but I don't like the way they schedule these huge kickoff games week 1, and then it's almost like if you looked at a chart, it's like it goes awesome, and then it goes down like a ski slope. It goes down into Shittyville about 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it kicks up because everybody does their conference games. Mm-hmm. But before I get into that rant, we got to hit our sponsor up.
I just noticed you're wearing some glasses right now.
I'm wearing glasses.
Because they look good. I know you said you see better with them.
I see better with them. I'm sharper with them.
You just look better with them, number one. No offense.
Well, I look, I can wear a Patrick Swayze tank top and glasses.
Whoa.
And I look refined.
Chad wearing some too? What the
heck? Warby Parker's, baby.
Yeah, Warby Parker?
So 1 second. So who's missing this? I'm here.
You need some Warby Parker glasses.
You know what? I'm about to go and get some Warby Parker glasses.
Well, Warby Parker.
I can't be the only guy that doesn't have some here.
The deal with them that I like them, they're a disruptor company. There's a monopoly on sunglasses and just regular glasses. I just saw this on John Oliver last week tonight. Like, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I've been talking about this for a while. I hate that kind of monopoly that's secretly not because it's an Italian company. Somehow it can gobble everything up in corporate consolidation.
They own Oakley and everybody else. Yeah, gotcha.
Well, they boxed Oakley out.
Correct. And that was on John Oliver's.
Yeah, basically made him sign. So Warby Parker, I love them because they basically figured out a better model. They figured out how to not sell glasses at $300 that look good, and they'll send you 5 different pairs. For our listeners, they get a trial offer if they go Warby Parker trial /sweat, and we'll put this in the post of the episode. But Warby Parker trial /sweat, you get a hookup on a trial of a 30-day trial, 5 pairs. Check them out.
I'm going. Every lawyer should have at least one pair, and I don't have one at all. I got to get one.
I mean, my vision's not that bad. These are better for at night, so I'm probably going to take them off.
Enhancement's the key.
But
There's
I'm
so many
saying
things out there that do enhancements.
I get that starburst thing with the lights at night. You ever get that sometimes? If you're tired, sometimes the street lights will kind of have a little burst to them. So these glasses take it off. Went to my optometrist. What up, Dr. Manning? And shout out to Micah Manning. What up, Doc?
Unplanned shout out.
And it took the starburst out, so you can put any prescription in there.
Love it.
Anything you need, and you email them the prescription.
Good.
And they put them in.
Let's do it.
I also want to add that you go to other places, and whenever I went to the optometrist, they said, your vision, you probably need some glasses. So I got some glasses, but I shopped around, and the reason why I went to Warby Parker was everyone else wants to upsell you. Okay, these glasses are cheap, but it's going to cost you an extra $50 for scratch resistant. It's going to cost you an extra $50 for anti-glare. Where Warby Parker, everything's included, one flat price. Very stylish glasses, if I do say so myself. And
I don't like artificial pricing, and I don't like artificial teams in the rankings. Like I think Georgia's a little bit high. What do you top 5 guys?
Man. Whoa, you're saying that they're overrated?
A little bit.
Oh my God,
that is a dagger. Let's talk about that game a little bit. It's hard, man. You got to face your demons here, Steve.
Okay, listen. I actually have a.
Can I get some helmet sticker for that segue?
We should get helmet.
That was fucking solid. Here, put it on there.
No, listen. I don't have much to say about this game because, listen, number one, just got our ass kicked. Plain and simple. Butch got out-coached, and Tennessee got exposed what all their weaknesses really are, especially at quarterback and offensively. They could not move the ball. They're one-dimensional, and the problem with that is you're not going to be able to win, as we know, in college football if your quarterback is just one-dimensional. Your offense is one-dimensional. They were predictable on third down, trying to throw the screen. Georgia's defense, by the way, is unbelievably fast.
They do have a great defense, too.
Sure. I'd be scared. I mean, they're going to obviously win the East, but...
No, not obviously.
I say obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
So, sorry about that.
We'll talk about that.
We will talk about that.
We've beaten Georgia like 4 of the past 5 years. But
too bad this year they're a lot better than you guys. But the thing is this, though. Jacob Eason... freshman quarterback, looked great. Didn't look rattled at all, even though he threw a pick in the game against Tennessee. But
Fromm started the game, though.
Fromm's who I meant. Jacob Eason barely played at all. Sorry, Fromm's who I meant, the freshman. But he even ran the ball. He had like a 25-yard touchdown run. He had a big scramble on a third down to really keep their momentum moving forward. I mean, and he's not really known to be a running quarterback. But the fact that he can do that, it makes their offense be able to sustain drives in more than one-dimensional. Tennessee doesn't have that with Dormandy at quarterback. Mm-hmm. I want them to switch to Garantano, but the problem is, and they even put him in late. But look, everybody knows this if you've ever played quarterback. It's hard to just come off the bench late in the third quarter when your team's down by 30 or 40 points, expect you to rally back. You're cold. You haven't warmed up. It's just you're not getting that player's best. And so for a coach to be able to evaluate and say you should be the starting quarterback next week, Tennessee has to make a decision. We can't win against good defenses with Quentin Dormady. We got to make a change, and I think Garantano, it's time to put him in with because he can run, he can throw. He's got to start getting experience. He's a redshirt freshman. So that's kind of where they're at. I mean, they got their own problems. Who knows if Butch Jones lasts through the week? They're actually on a bye week coming up. It's usually the best time, they say, to fire a coach if you want to do it because then the new staff that kind of takes over or the assistant coaches that take over now have a week to prepare.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen if that day of reckoning is today or whatnot if he stays. I don't know. But that's kind of the status of where we're at, and it's very unfortunate because I expected a lot better showing yesterday, and Tennessee just didn't show up.
So I'll have a stat of the day for that one is largest home shutout loss since 1905 for
I think
Tennessee.
your stat of the days the past 3 weeks have been against Tennessee.
They're all
college football's all about, man. It's about stomping on the throat of your opponent when they're down.
Yeah.
No, Georgia. I think Georgia is pretty good. They're
a real deal, man.
They probably are the best team in the East.
Second best team in the SEC.
They have Chubb, of course, led the way with 100 yards.
Michelle got a lot of carries and scored like I said he would. My sources
named after someone told me he's named after a DVD player. I don't
Someone
know
said that. Yeah,
I
said
that. But
Blu-ray
he's
player.
named after a Blu-ray.
But the Dogs
don't shit up the joke.
Too late.
You know how people round down
timing.
on the joke?
Yeah, right.
The more specific you get, the funnier it gets. All right.
So, the Dogs have a real QB controversy with Fromm and Eason because Eason did come in at the end.
It's not a controversy.
I don't know, man. Fromm has done pretty well this
He had
past
the big
couple
knee
games.
brace on. He was barely mobile. You have to ride.
I'm saying
Fromm
once
right through.
Eason gets to full strength, I think they have a real QB controversy.
Really,
on their
though?
hands. Yeah.
If you keep winning, there's no controversy.
Right.
Know, man,
And if he's playing well, there's no controversy.
But Eason was like the second coming of Peyton Manning, in the SEC.
Well, Dormandy's been in
apparently.
college longer and in the same system than Fromm has, and Fromm looked like 100 times better.
Dormady?
Yeah, for Tennessee. They played Tennessee yesterday.
Right.
I'm saying if you compare, Dormandy's been in that program for like 3 or 4 years now at Tennessee. And
Sounds like a fake name.
Fromm just got there at Georgia. I'm saying if you're that long in the program, you should be a lot further ahead than a freshman quarterback. The freshman looked better yesterday than Dormandy. He just looked like he's been there for years.
Okay.
So to me, if you're playing that well, there's no controversy. I see what you're saying because the Georgia faithful who have Easton's side because of how well he played last year, they're probably going to want to put him back in. He'll have support. So from that point, I probably see your point. But in terms of like from a playing perspective, in terms of what they're producing on the field, I mean, there's no drop off when Fromm stepped in. So we'll see. But I do have a gripe with you about one thing. When you're talking about how yes,
sir,
why is the schedule flaccid? All of a sudden, are you telling me that Washington State USC game on Friday that set the stage for the weekend was not a good game?
That's what I wanted to say too.
Thank you, sir.
But no, I want to say after that it was downhill.
Well, look,
I don't know.
I went into the weekend going, "Ooh, we got a lot of top 25 games."
Yes.
Kind of. We got a lot of matchups. We had Auburn, Mississippi State. We had Virginia Tech, Clemson. We had Alabama, which
Ole Miss.
Before the season looked like maybe decent. What else did we have? We had the USC, Washington State,
Mississippi State, Auburn,
Duke, Miami was actually because Duke was 4-0.
Oklahoma State, Texas Tech game was a shootout to the end. That was a good game last night.
I'll tell you this much: I hate the NFL bleeding over to Thursdays, and Monday's always going to be there.
I don't hate that.
I love it.
Let me see.
Go ahead.
Well, I like college football on Thursday
More
and Friday.
football, better.
No, there's more games in college football than the NFL, and so like. I love that. I wish the Pac-10 or Pac-12, 12-pack always had a game Friday night like that because that was way better. Because then it's like, okay, there was an early game Friday too, which was the Miami-Duke game, which was entertaining because I wanted to see what Miami was doing. I wanted to see Ahmad Richards come back because he's my wide receiver in my top 25 fantasy league.
Nice.
But also I wanted to see Miami really play someone.
Yeah.
And so
next week they will.
And it was, I was like, oh yeah, Mark Richt. Oh yeah, they're gonna be fucking good.
Yeah.
So that was good because
there's 14th in the nation.
But there's no other game on. And then later Friday night was an awesome Washington State USC game. I passed out because I was up since 5 a.m.
By the way, the past 2 weeks, pretenders are getting weeded out.
I know, and
like it happened last week. Tennessee's weeded out. I mean, there's some upsets. Like LSU got weeded out yesterday.
Yeah,
like they're
LSU.
2 losses in a row.
LSU.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's start off with USC Washington State. 30-27 USC wins. In case anyone doesn't know, Washington State wins after Darnold fumbles in the closing minutes.
Didn't I say that?
They had a defensive lineman named Hercules that stripped him.
Love
that. And he threw for only 164 yards, had 2 turnovers, 2 rushing TDs, but Darnold might be lagging here in the Heisman.
And wasn't I saying that from day one? I wasn't sold.
No, you didn't like Darnold.
Told you. Go right ahead. It's crazy how though, like people were saying this guy's the real deal. I'm not saying he's not a good football player. He's a good football player. I'm just saying when people talk about first round draft choice, is he the real deal? I told you guys I hadn't seen him play enough under pressure games. He had the one game in the bowl game last year where I took notice of him.
Yeah.
I didn't until then. And I told you guys on this podcast from day one that he's not a pressure player, and I was right. But, I mean, he's going to play well. He's still going to be NFL. But I'm just telling you that sometimes you can see this. But, look, this is the real question out of this game that no one's talking about except one person on Twitter. So I kind of stole this. Is Washington State won this game. They believe they can go the distance and keep winning. I don't know if their schedule will get them into the top 4. The question is exactly it might, but are they the real deal?
Yes,
I think they are.
Because I think they end up
contenders now.
They take a dump somewhere later in the schedule every year where they lose to someone that they shouldn't. I think they're playing Oregon this week.
At Oregon.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's the kind of trap games that they get into, and they can't. Can they sustain this? And that's the question. Are they the real deal? If you ask me, I think you have Luke Falk, who's a senior, who hasn't had a drop off in his play at all the past 2 seasons.
He'll be the best Pac-10, Pac-12
to me,
quarterback of all time.
He's probably the first or second best quarterback in the draft this year, pro-ready wise. No, yeah, I think so. But here's the other question. And your boy Mike
Sam
Leach.
Donald's throwing like a jet right now.
Well, that's if you want to go on and talk for that reason, yes. But, I mean, Mike Leach got that offense ready. They had a game plan. They were ready for USC. They were in this game from the start, and I didn't think they were going to. I thought they were going to have to claw and fight back more than what the score actually showed.
Yeah. And Mike Leach, it's your boy. He pulled it off. He had the quote of the night. He said, "It's like Woodstock, except everyone has their clothes on after they won." So that was a,
God,
was a
I
good
love
quote
that guy.
from your boy
What
Leach.
was that other one he said about wrestling a bear?
I don't know. Man. He has so many.
Found out like it was a cub or something. I can't remember.
Oh no, I was just making up shit in our Slack channel at that
awesome.
point. Yeah, I told y'all he fought a bear, but you have to make a realistic lie like that. So I was like, it was a cub, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But he killed a bear with his bare hands.
But that was a great game to start the weekend off. I was happy to see an upset. I just love upsets in general.
That was a great game.
But I love to see underdogs like Washington State, who's ranked 6th in the country, not an underdog nonetheless. But teams that you want to see if they can make that next stride. It's interesting to have teams like that get into the mix. I hope they can stay. But that's the big debate is every year that they've been relevant and ranked high, they find a way to lose games somewhere down the road.
To Law's point, it started out great. I was like, this is going to be a great weekend. But after that, I don't think there was an upset. There was not one upset after that. It was chalk. Everything went according to plan. We could talk about Alabama destroying Ole Miss 66-3. Supposed the biggest game of the day on Saturday was Clemson at Virginia Tech.
It was a great game.
A College Game Day was there.
It was a good game for a while.
It was.
Yeah, they weren't in New York. Good.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I consider this game. I actually watched this whole game yesterday, and Clemson is the real deal. But to me, and Virginia Tech's a quality opponent. Don't get me wrong. I think they are overrated. I think they are a pretender team. I think they're rated higher than what they really are. To me, this was like like when you're in practice and the first team defense usually doesn't go up against. Talk about practice. But like the first team doesn't usually go up against the first team offense. So usually it's the first team offense against like the second string defense or something like that, or a scout team. To me, this Clemson Virginia Tech game looked like the first team offense was actually practicing against the first team defense, where they had a little bit of struggles. They couldn't move the ball for a bit, but then they found a way to kind of keep going over it, and then Clemson obviously won. They look really good. Deion Kane looks good. I think Kelly looks really good. Kelly Bryant, the quarterback for Clemson.
Yeah, they're not missing what kind of things? Deshaun
Watson?
Watson.
No
yeah,
drop off.
Say Deshaun Kaiser.
So again, this to me, I thought they were going to get really, really tested, and they came through against Louisville, came through against Virginia Tech. We just got to see if they can go as the ACC schedule gets a little bit more tough down the road.
Hey man,
we'll see.
pizza party at Clemson. Look,
Hey,
they're good again, man. They look really fucking. It makes, as an Auburn fan, it makes me feel a lot better about that game.
Right.
Yeah, it was a close game. Was it 14-9 or something? Y'all lost.
Yeah,
it was close.
It was like a knockout defensive game, and
it was.
And we can go into the Auburn game, but you
guys look good yesterday.
I think we turned a corner a little bit. We're not there yet, but I think we turned a bit of a corner at the Missouri game, and it's a different team now.
Your confidence-wise, you guys look good yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, you're not missing Petway either. You got Johnson picking up slack.
Good.
Yeah,
if he can break a 50-yard run or not. But
I told you,
really
man.
Good.
I think. All right, really, let's think about this. If you have a hamstring injury, you want to play.
You shouldn't play.
But all right,
that week off helps you.
You've got to tweak though. No, hamstring doesn't go like a real one. It doesn't go away.
If you have Petway, why risk Kerryon Johnson hurting his hamstring?
Petway's hurt. They
played two hurt running backs.
Yeah, they're both hurt.
Why don't they just let Stingham just throw the ball around? He threw it well yesterday. He underthrew it. He underthrew a deep ball.
And by the way, the final score, it was Auburn, Mississippi. Final score 49-10. Let's get that out of the way.
But Mississippi State, by the way, is definitely was overrated. They were hyped way too early. They're gonna keep falling out. So.
I bought into the Fitzgerald hype. I mean, the guy. That one game he had against, like 3 weeks ago, who they played, ranked team. Help me out here.
LSU, was it?
No.
No.
Well, yeah, they beat LSU.
Yeah, they destroyed LSU. That's why everyone got on their
train. We didn't know LSU.
Terrible.
Yeah,
3 weeks later.
They played LSU at LSU and won 37-7. He had a great game.
Well, but you can look at game film. Is it LSU that sucks and it was Mississippi State dominant? That's always the you always have to figure out transitive property in college football, and we're
50-cent term.
Yeah, we're starting to get to that area where you have to go. Okay, well this team beat this team and this team beat this team, but you need.
For it. Thanks, bro. Steve's having a donut.
I think Fitzgerald looked like poor man's Tebow. Like he looked pretty good. Poor man's team.
Yeah. I mean, he had 2 INTs. Stidham had a decent day. They just didn't give him a chance to pass very much. 13 of 16, 264 yards, 2 TDs. So, I mean, I think that if you use ESPN's QBR, people have been resisting that, but he had a 96.2 QBR rating, which is on a 100-point scale. That's pretty dang good.
Auburn's secondary really stepped up. They shut down a lot of the passing game. I don't think Fitzgerald had a lot of things open. The front seven we know is good with Auburn, but they stopped the run.
All right, question. I have to ask this because you scared me. You don't seem like you're sold on Stidham at all. He's your quarterback for the year. You better
Chad,
get on board.
It sounds like you saw what I saw in the passing game from him. He's not
They don't have. Listen, he only threw the ball 16 times. He hasn't thrown it.
He's a game
that
manager,
much.
though.
No, but
he'll do all right.
No. Well,
did you hear about him? What they were saying yesterday? How he took a year off, went to community college. He had to bring his own shoulder pads to do like a what's it called, like a 7-on-7 on air with like high school kids to get his throwing in. I was like,
yeah, you got to do what you can.
Quarterback at Auburn.
But
I know you do, but
he took a whole year off.
Yes.
I thought he went straight from Baylor as soon as
he went to community college.
Art Briles got busted.
And the community college he went to didn't even have a football team. He just did it to keep his grade so he could be on track to graduate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
To stay at Auburn. The shit was
he
like
wasn't in on Auburn at that time.
Yeah, but Auburn's application was like a credit card application. It was a joke.
Well, that's your own school, bro.
I know. Look, real talk. That's what's going on. Wow. But Chad, you saw what I saw. Every long ball, 10 yards underneath.
Oh, it was.
Like
First one he threw.
He couldn't catch a lot of people in stride. He did later in the game, but I think in the beginning of the season, his confidence wasn't there. He couldn't make decisions. It's what happened to he had decision
a whole new
paralysis.
Offense, but it's a new offense for him. It's gonna take. I talked about that a couple weeks ago.
I know, but he had decision paralysis. He couldn't Jeremy Johnson had the same thing. The guy's a stud athlete.
Franks too.
He couldn't make a decision to throw the ball. So now he looks more confident. I just think he's got to get like. Maybe he needs some Warby Parker glasses. Go to warbyparkertrial.com /sweat.
Working our way through the top 25, I actually want to get to the Florida game here in a second. Sure. But, I mean, Oklahoma State in a shootout salvaged their season, ranked at 15. They'll probably stay right around there, maybe shoot up like 1 or 2 points. But beating Texas Tech at Texas Tech, they were down in this game for a while, had to fight back. So after losing last week, this was good that they were able to sustain that. But it's they have to make sure that they stay consistent, because if they want to have any chance of making it towards at least being ranked in the top 10, they can't lose again. So Florida looked good, the locals.
Yeah, man, 61-31 over East Carolina.
Apparently, they have the biggest double-digit margin, like 24 games in a row where they've done like when they win against like Power 5 teams or something like that. They've had like double-digit wins. There was a stat on there. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Yeah, no, that sounds
it was
right.
impressive. But 61-31, they beat East Carolina.
Victory. And dude, Quentin Flowers still getting no love from the national media.
No, I told you guys that. Didn't I tell you this on day one? I don't know why you're
but
shocked.
He's not like
that.
even the top 15. Like
well,
he should be in the
because they played East Carolina.
I guess.
How about this? ESPN was showing a lot more clips of them. That's really the indicator.
He's a great player, though.
If you can figure out the pattern of what ESPN puts out in clips, that's how they kind of move the market, right? Like Google moves the market for search, right? Mm-hmm. They're kind of the same thing for sports. So if they want to play more USF clips, I bet there's a high correlation between that, the amount of clips they show, and the amount of Heisman votes you can get, right?
Oh yeah, that's what I told you guys.
They're going with Barkley right now is clearly the leader.
Well, okay, let's talk about Saquon Barkley. Let's talk about that Penn State game, because Barkley had, for him, an off day. He threw for a touchdown.
And he had a special teams touchdown, over 200 yards of
and the dopest one-handed catch as a running back.
That was nice.
So he had the highlights, but he had like 50 yards rushing. I think no rushing touchdowns, but still a great day.
That's 2 or 3 weeks in a row, no rushing touchdowns. He didn't even have one against Iowa. And I got him still ranked second in my Heisman rankings. But let me tell you why. Okay, first of all, great player. And yesterday, by the way, this is what Heisman voters love about him, and this is why I love him too. Heisman voters get wet. They love when football players score in multiple different ways.
Yeah, they
throwing
do.
the ball, special teams. That's why Charles Woodson won it.
That's the only reason why defensive players have ever won it is when they have special teams, punt return.
So this makes you look like the most outstanding college football player, and
you're right.
He is.
Good point.
Now here's the reason why I have him number 2 in my ranking, because really he should be 1 and can be. But if you look at the past couple of weeks, and this isn't a problem, people say, but I just noticed this against Iowa. Their last play of the game, maybe because they thought it was predictable, they threw the ball to win against Iowa last second. They got very lucky. But I'm surprised they wouldn't make a play up to put it in their best player's hands. He sat there and pretty much was non-existent on the last play against them. And that's a win that they needed. Okay. Number 2, no rushing touchdowns the past couple weeks. Great player, still making an impact, still scoring the ball in many different ways. I'm just saying, to me, that's why he's number 2. Your best player is the guy that you rely upon to win games all the time. He's great, but again, those different situations make you wonder why they hadn't used them. It could be. And listen, this is just one take.
Misdirection.
All right, exactly.
It's all going to go.
That's
to
what
him.
I mean. Maybe Iowa said he's getting the ball. Let's just man up on him. That's why they threw it.
They're also up 28-0 after the first quarter. So
for sure, but
3-point shot shouldn't go to LeBron. Should go to Ray Allen. Man, boom.
Hey, but that was a rebound. But listen, at the end of the day. I mean, I
was
still like Baker Mayfield. Kelly Bryant's still climbing up the board for me.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
John
now
Kelly's
he is.
out because their coaches are torpedoing his Heisman status.
Yeah.
But I still like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's numbers still look good. He's still relevant.
Yeah,
So
we kind of forgot about
former
Louisville.
winner.
Again,
Yeah.
look at the pattern of what's
Louisville.
That's how you
McConnell.
say it.
It is.
Look at the pattern of how much their highlights are shown.
I know.
And it does move the needle. Like, it's a fun game to kind of just check out. I like kind of the behavioral stats of that. Like, you don't have to like get technical about it, but you can just like eyeball it and go.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of Lamar Jackson highlights. I saw like one where they just did lightning round kind of
I know.
stuff.
Yep.
Even the college football final, which is pretty good about showing every game.
They are.
When they're not, it's
Well,
the votes go down.
yeah. Speaking of moving the needle, Murray State doesn't exactly move the needle. So 55-10, they beat them. Lamar Jackson had three TDs, one rushing TD. So yeah, he's still looking good. But let's talk about the guy Baker Mayfield had an off week. Yeah. But did he really have an off week? I don't know if you guys heard this story.
No,
DUI.
I haven't heard anything.
No. So I don't know if you guys know, and I don't know who this is, but someone told me.
Is this a conspiracy or is this
no? This is the truth.
Is he the-
I'm winding up. It sounds like a conspiracy, right?
It's coming. They're coming. I'm ready anytime. Just
but
tell me this.
But I don't know if you guys know who this is. It's Mia Khalifa. It's a porn star.
I don't know.
I
I didn't know who that was.
know who that
Allegedly.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Legend.
who? What's her name?
Law doesn't know either, right? Someone told. I'm telling you now.
No,
she's a
sounds like
porn
a-
star. Very
She's got
popular
a good
hotel.
brownish skin. I mean, no, I don't know who that is.
Great. So anyway, she's a very famous porn star. She's very involved in the college football game. She likes to tweet college football stars. So
Dude, she was trolling Chad Kelly last year. Remember
Oh, yeah,
that?
that was hilarious.
My God, that was
She's
so
good at
funny.
FSU.
She tried to slide in the DMs too, and she's
Yeah.
Braxton Miller when he was
Yeah.
in Ohio
and
State.
she will,
she's trying to
she will
get him.
screenshot guys and blow guys up
She
when
did.
they try to slide in her
Pro play.
DMs.
Yeah,
definitely.
So what happened here?
So,
Did he try to slide in?
she publicly, not in his DMs, she was, because after that daddy comment last week
yeah,
with Baylor,
yeah.
she just tweeted at Baker Mayfield daddy like that, and then she also flirted
hype.
with him again.
He got hype.
You think that? He goes, this is what Baker Mayfield did. He goes, and does not sound like him, but this is exactly what he did. He goes,
He got hacked.
no, he was like, I have a great girlfriend that I love or something, and no thank you. And he shut her down, and then he blocked her.
But how does he know that she was
Blocked.
reaching out like that, though? That's a little presumptuous.
Oh, you should see. I only pull up the actual tweets, but
Come
she
on,
was.
man.
Because
Here's what I think. I got a conspiracy theory
Flirting with
behind
him.
this, too. But not one of the real conspiracy theories. But my actual conspiracy theory on this is maybe, she just thought.
get the hat.
Is
Get
this
the hat.
Is this a conspiracy theory?
This is
Man,
not
you
one of
gotta
my
warn me.
conspiracy theories.
You
This
gotta
just
warn
came
me
up.
here. Okay.
I'm just saying, maybe he was just looking out for former NFL players who were getting thrown down by her. He's like, you know what? Time to pay back to you.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, so not a conspiracy theory. We can hold on to that. But I just want to make sure you know, maybe that's what he was doing. But his girl, maybe he's trying to salvage that relationship because that was a G move.
Yeah.
Well,
Some guys might want to
here's
say,
all-
look, how far can we take this until my girlfriend finds out?
Hey, you guys know the deal. When something's too good to be true, it
usually
usually isn't.
You didn't even want to see it. I didn't hear about this, by the way.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that story? That's deep in the
I think
Kremlin.
Deadspin.
No, it's
was on
Deadspin.
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 Was it Deadspin?
I saw that really.
Those are
late
Roger
at night.
Stone status. Or that's Paul Manafort deep sources in the Kremlin. That's
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it's also you look at the marketplace for him. He's got enough. There's enough competition. I'm sure he's
Probably.
getting his
Love that, though, Chad.
his fill
Yeah.
in Oklahoma.
So here's the headline. The first thing I pulls up on Google: a thirsty Mia Khalifa just got owned by Oklahoma Sooners QB Baker Mayfield and his gorgeous girlfriend.
I love the
What's his
adjective.
girl? I never
thirsty.
actually see his girlfriend.
His
though,
girlfriend
so.
is pretty hot, so I don't.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I'm
I
sure
thought that
she's
was a
not a
funny
dog.
story.
That's a great story. I'm glad you did that because we like those kind of stories. Hey, listen, anything media takeout, BuzzFeed.
Anything they can't talk about on TV,
Yeah.
we want to know
we
about.
like it. Listen,
Yeah.
we will consider it. We don't fact check. We'll take the sources as they come.
We will
Anything's
literally say
alleged on
anything.
here. Yes. Now, before we get to the conspiracies that are floating around out there in the sphere, I do want to talk about. I want to give you a chance. I'd be remiss if I did.
Okay.
Talk about your Gators. Go ahead. They got lucky again. I
It
know.
was, man, it's rough. It's rough being a Gator fan is all I got to say.
Quarterback
it
out
was-
for the year.
Del Rio's out for the year. We finally got some stability last week.
Is that a loss?
Well,
Really?
honestly,
Might as well let Franks play.
yeah.
No, I don't think Franks
but
is ready.
For this year, it was a loss.
Yes.
I don't think Franks is ready this year. It was rough. He broke his collarbone. This is after last year. He had 2 reconstructive surgeries on both shoulders. He just had so many injuries, and the guy's very likable too. You know, he's son of a coach. Very, very smart guy. Just does all the right things, and you feel bad for him if for nothing else.
Yeah,
but
is he gonna stop? Like he's a senior, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
he's
graduating.
like a 6 years. He's gonna keep coming back. Or
I don't know if
he's
he's not gonna get another medical red shirt. I think he's already used.
Is he
going to
go to an A
transferred.
school?
Because Franks is gonna keep.
Oh no,
they need to work him.
I think
for
he
the
actually
future.
he has one more.
No, he
year of
can. I
eligibility.
checked. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
But is he actually gonna like shut it down and just join his dad and coach, or is he gonna actually?
Who knows, man?
play?
If I were him, getting injured so many times, I might just hang up.
I'll tell you this though: the positive from that game is, and I know it's Vanderbilt, who's decent team, but they really showed how much now Florida has to rely on running the football. Your running backs look good yesterday.
5 rushing touchdowns. 2 for Malik Davis, who's a local guy. He has the Hillsborough County record for most
nice.
rushing
I like
yards.
that.
Yeah,
Local.
That's for Tampa.
For high school.
What high school? Tampa Prep?
No, Jesuit.
Oh, nice.
Jesuit.
Law's alma mater.
Yeah. There you
Well,
go.
for those outside of the area,
Malik Davis.
Yes,
But
yes.
you're gonna hear his name a lot. He's gonna be our lead rusher, and also P. Ryan,
Yes.
who is the brother, actually younger brother.
Sam G.
of,
Pre-Run?
Yeah,
That makes sense. I was wondering about that. I should have texted you because I was getting trolled by Chad all day actually during Tennessee game. I should have asked him that
you
question.
were talking a lot of shit.
He was talking a lot, bro. I couldn't
enjoy
enjoy
it,
it.
but
man.
you
You gotta enjoy
started
it.
it.
Oh, because he knows I was frustrated from Tennessee playing like my grade school team. So, but it's funny because now though, if you want to beat Florida, you know you have to put 7 in the box and force, or 8 in the box and force
8 in the
Franks
box.
to beat you.
Yep.
Because Florida is going to be able to run the ball. It's going to be their salvage to try to win this season, which they're going to lose a couple games, probably against Georgia. What actually? Don't they play Georgia soon?
We play Georgia.
Because
You're
going.
Yeah, I'm going
okay,
to
so
that
a couple
game,
weeks still. We're about a month out.
Right.
But
We play LSU next week, which is great. LSU is down, so I have a good feeling we're going to win next week.
Yeah, LSU.
But
what
yeah,
is with the drop
I
off?
don't know if we're going to beat Georgia. Georgia looks real good right now. So
Well,
we'll see.
I'll tell you what, their front 7, which is why I said before, looks really good, and that's going to be a great matchup against Florida's rush offense. So we'll see. That's interesting. Tough one for Vanderbilt because they were in the game for a bit.
Yeah.
Tony thought it was going to be a field goal game. He was wrong.
He was way wrong.
We got to put him on blast since he won't come on.
Yeah. Tony, stop being a pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking up Butch Jones as of this podcast.
You know what?
10:30 in the morning.
Oh, perfect segue. Keep going.
Still
Got a job?
still has a job.
Wow.
You know what?
From what I can see.
I'm glad you just gave me the Butch update. 'Cause that's a great transition into what I want to now get into.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's time for some conspiracies.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Okay, this is a full-blown segment now.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Chad even
Well,
made
we
me
gotta-
a tinfoil hat. I'm ready to go.
If you're watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube, you can see his tinfoil hat has been made.
It's legit as it
Steve's
comes.
tinfoil hat, and it's looks like a big Hershey kiss to me.
That's what
Hold
you
on.
thought it was.
Yeah.
Video will
You're
play
like,
after this ad.
Do you know what this is? He's like, it looks like diabetes. And Chad's like, no, man, it's not a Hershey's Kiss. It's a tinfoil hat.
It does look like a Hershey's kiss without it being on a head. How
so
about that?
when was that last post about Butch Jones still be having a job?
Oh shit!
Oh, because this is why I'm asking. I'll tell you why. Does he? It is legit. Do one more time check. So here's why I'm asking the question.
All it is right now is a bunch of like, is he gonna get fired?
Perfect. Because the conspiracy right now that I'm hearing is, and I don't know if this is just all alleged. I have absolutely no support for this. But if you didn't know, I posted this on the Triple Option at 3XO Pod
Ooh.
Twitter page. Butch Jones this week ran it against the press. And it's reminding me a lot of the current administration in the White House.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking to myself, does he know, and this is the conspiracy behind all this, does he know his job is up? And he was actually, trying to try out for the new press secretary job, talking about fake news.
Ooh.
Because I heard
I love it. He said fake news. He literally said fake news.
That's what I'm telling you. So he's practicing. So the question is, I heard Sarah Huckabee Sanders is on the hot seat. Butch Jones on the hot seat at his job. Is he trying to get into that press? That's what I'm wondering. So that's the first thing I heard about him.
Okay.
The second conspiracy theory I heard about Butch Jones, and I have 3 I had to make up for last week because we couldn't get into them. The other one that I heard on Twitter is he brought donuts to his interview on SEC Live yesterday.
Yeah.
To the fans. I had to bring some in too because when you obviously, can't win a football game, you might as well do something right. So now the score was 41-0. Did he know they weren't going to score before the game? Because what's the number that shows up in a donut? It's a 0.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, was he predicting the outcome? The conspiracy is, did he know that before? Now, I heard this. I heard he tried to get donuts in the shape of L's, but they said, we don't do that. So that's the other one that didn't happen. Now, the last one that I'm hearing, this last conspiracy theory for the day, involves your boy, Urban Meyer, Chad.
All right.
Okay, and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, if you remember this, 2 years ago, J.T. Barrett got a DUI. Remember that?
Yep.
Ooh.
And that helped Cardell Jones pave the way to come in and take them to the national championship and actually get drafted in the NFL. So the conspiracy theory is, if you look on Twitter, everyone's going crazy at Ohio State. The fans are not saying, why is Urban Meyer still playing JT Barrett? They're saying his drop-off in his play, he's not good. Tell me you guys heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. So why is he still playing? Everyone's wondering. Well, the conspiracy is, when he got that DUI, this is alleged. No facts to this at all, proof. I'm just hearing what I hear from my sources.
Okay.
Apparently, he was doing shots with Urban that night. Why he got drunk.
Oh,
okay?
so he's covering his own ass.
While they're talking, I guess Urban was so deep in that scotch. Listen to this. He was revealing where all the bodies are buried at Florida, everything he knew about Aaron Hernandez, stuff about Tebow.
Whoa.
So JT Barrett leaves, gets the DUI, unfortunately. His play's dropped off. I heard he goes, look, Urban, you keep playing me. Don't take me out, or I'm going to spill the beans on everything you told me.
I'm trying to zoom in on
And that's why he's playing him. Because everyone's, hey, listen, the fans were asking, I'm giving you answers. Why is JT still playing? Why hasn't he made a quarterback switch? Apparently, he's got Urban Meyer, by the shorts. So he's not taking off. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it's the hat. I got to take this off now.
Those are good ones, man. Those are definitely made up for last week.
That's what I told you. Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But this is just from my sources. I cannot have no support or truth for anything. It's all alleged facts.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Wow. Powerful.
You're welcome.
Girthy.
When all that comes true, it comes to fruition. You heard it here first, guys.
That is true.
Well, it looks like I'm on RockyTopTalk.com, which is part of SB Nation.
I'm a frequent visitor of that site.
Yeah, I like what SB Nation's done. Is got all the local guys and put it under one network of good writers, and so they're 3-2, and it says they laid out the terms of his deal. It's $2 million per year.
Yeah.
Each year left on his deal.
But he asked for an extension, didn't get it, I heard recently. What's he got left?
One
or two?
The last thing it says cleaning out the entire staff, which probably wouldn't happen. They'd probably fire him and then keep a
Coach
coordinator.
Gillespie's there, a really good coach.
Would be between 11 and 13 million. And then depending on timing, it costs Tennessee between 6 and 8 million to fire Butch Jones.
Ooh.
Just
they can afford it.
Though. Yeah, they can afford it.
Yeah, I know. It's just crazy. The buyout, those exit buyouts are kind of fucking crazy.
Yep.
Those
coaches have good agents, man. They
do.
negotiate those big buyouts.
Well, I mean, they are the brand in a way because
Yeah.
they're the only thing that's consistently there for more than 3 years.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's part of college football, at least with the coaches, is that's the identity of the program. I mean, the players only go so much because they come and go, like you're saying.
Right.
The coaches generally, and if you look at especially the most successful ones, I mean, they're there. They can build their life there. I mean, it's in college basketball, minus the scandals this week. But, I mean, there's
War
coaches
Eagle
there. Yeah, there's coaches. I mean, Rick Pitino aside. But there's coaches, like, you think about it, I don't want to say it, but Joe Paterno or Steve Spurrier at Florida, I mean, they've spent multiple decades at one school. I mean, that's what gives them a identity, and they're really important to the school. And obviously for recruiting, when you can show a coach, is sustainable at the same school, that's more attractive to players, because the one thing they hate is having to play through a coaching change. You don't want a coach to come in that didn't recruit you, didn't see the value in you, then starts looking at your play differently than the coach that was currently there.
It's just
so
like any business, except it's public. It's usually public schools.
I would even venture to say in some cases, like with Bobby Bowden towards the end of his tenure, he was more of a figurehead. He barely did any coaching. He showed up to practice,
Paterno?
he walked around.
Allegedly.
Paterno the same,
Probably.
yeah. These offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators basically run the team. So that's another example.
You're not wrong. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I just have one other game I wanted to talk
Go ahead.
about last week before we move on to next week's games.
Yeah.
I obviously want to talk about LSU losing to Troy 24-21. Snapped a 49-game win streak for LSU against non-conference opponents at home. They had not lost in 49 games. I don't know. Did you guys watch this game? It looked sloppy. Your boy Orgeron, man, he's your boy. And
he is.
I know.
You know what?
Speaking of which, buyouts, I think it would cost them because they gave him that big deal.
This is his first year of his
right.
deal.
But if they wanted to fire him, it would cost them, I forget, I can't remember the number. I think like $12 million or something.
Now, here's
to
the thing. Listen,
fire him.
I'm going to tell everybody one thing. Relax with LSU. I know it's bad. I know they're supposed to be winning. It's his first year. He hasn't had a chance to recruit the players that he wants yet. He'll get there. I'm a little bit disappointed in the play of Geist, which we hyped up on this podcast a lot this year.
Yeah.
He didn't play yesterday, did he?
No, he didn't. And Orgeron, listen, he usually finds a way to come through. He likes to take people's jobs. He's not really good at sustaining his own, but I would give him 1 or 2 years to get some of the players he wants in his program.
He's been failing up.
Dude, he does. I'll tell you this, though. Give him a chance,
Him
though,
and Ted
LSU
Roof are the
Nation.
biggest fail-upper people ever.
I mean, even at Ole Miss, he tanked his job when he got
USC?
it. So, yeah, but the players, he didn't get a chance to coach there as a head coach. They let him go.
I know, but I'm saying he was interim head coach.
He was
right?
interim and did a great job.
Yeah.
Took him to a bowl game. But listen, at the end of the day, I would give Ed the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he's loved in LSU. I mean, he's a alumni there.
He is LSU. Like, he
That's
is
what I mean.
a Cajun.
He is.
Cajun
Him
king.
and James Carville have the best voices ever come out of Louisiana. So I would wait 1 or 2. Now, is this disappointing? Yes. Should they have lost 2 games that they should not have lost? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, they have to beat Florida, by the way, to really keep their season relevant.
Next
if they
week,
don't,
right?
next
week.
And is that game
at the Swamp, baby?
Oh, I wish I was going.
All I can say is, man, it's all about karma. I think like last year when they're talking all that trash, we were scared to play them. We went in there, we beat them. Now they have 2 years in a row they have to face at the Swamp. So it's all karma. Actually, we'd be remiss.
Wow. No bitterness there.
Well, last year was a hurricane.
Yeah, Hurricane Matthew was coming through, so we had to move the
Hurricanes.
game, and they said that we were scared to play them. So anyway, but I'd be remiss if I did not mention the FSU, even though they're not in the top 25,
Right.
they're 0-2,
okay.
but they did barely pull out the win at Wake Forest last week.
I like this.
Your boy Blackman,
Yes.
the FSU's quarterback.
It's gonna be good.
He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good.
He's gonna get better each week.
He's 165 pounds, soaking wet, but
Come on,
he
man, don't matter.
he is
6'5",
he's 6'5",
We
165
talked
pounds.
about this last year. That doesn't matter. He's playing well. The best tweet I saw about this game, though, Chad, is Wake Forest really that bad, or is
Yes.
really that bad, or is Florida State really that bad because the score was so close? But
No,
this is a
I
team
think Wake
they blow
Forest
up.
is a decent team.
Okay.
I think people are overreacting with Florida State, not doing that well, but no, they'll be fine throughout the rest of the year.
But they
I
gotta
hope
play.
they are.
They're playing Miami next week. This is a real test.
Yeah,
Blackman,
Miami's looking real good.
and I don't think Blackman's seen a defense like that. I mean, I guess
No.
I don't think he played against Alabama where it was relevant time.
No.
So this is really his true test. Playing against Miami is this game at Doak, or are they playing in the South in
It's at Doak.
South Beach?
There you
Oh,
go.
it's at the Doak.
Okay,
So
so
better
that's
for
gonna be
him,
great. That's
home
gonna make a
field
great
advantage.
game.
That's probably the game of the week next
But
week.
I was watching the Miami game, and they're running a Walton. I was like, okay, they ran him 3 times. He just had 3 gains, and then it was like, don't run him again. And they ran him again,
Nice.
and he started limping, and it was like, all right, don't run him a 5th time in a row.
Sounds like Kerryon Johnson.
Pretty much, but I don't think their running back set up for a lot of hits like that. 5 in a row is
Yeah.
pretty rough, and it's kind of like, yeah, we know what's coming next, basically.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they ran him a 5th time and got hurt. So, look, I like figuring out behaviors and trends like within the game. I don't know if y'all do that or not, but
Sure.
just something I noticed, and I remember Mark Rick doing that with oh Christ, what was the
At Georgia,
what was the running back with that was a badass freshman
Todd Gurley.
before that?
And
to
then he went to
Broncos.
Auburn, didn't he? Too.
No, went to Broncos.
Oh.
Sat out a year.
I know you're talking about. I can't.
No
name's
no
not.
Sean Marino.
Yes.
Yeah, no Sean Marino. There
Yeah,
you
okay,
go.
good.
That's
Yes,
it.
yes.
Well, yeah,
Good
yeah.
job. Good pull, Steve.
Wow. Nice. Wow. Think about that.
Yeah, that's
Just never
wild,
really
though.
talked about again. I haven't thought about that guy in 4 years.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So
Yeah, he had a couple good years for fantasy if you play fantasy football
Yeah.
in NFL.
Last time I
but-
remember him was he was just like crying like crazy on TV, and they just showed the tears.
Oh,
coming. Remember
yeah.
that? That's the last
Yeah.
time I ever saw him do anything. Really.
Yeah.
But he was a great running back, by the way. But so let's get into next week's game. We talked about the biggest game next week. I think it's definitely the biggest ACC implications. I think is Florida State Miami, because that's going to be the team that's going to be battling against Clemson, really, for the supremacy in that conference. So that's probably game of the week. Anything else on the schedule you
West
guys
Virginia at TCU, man.
saw? Not a bigger game than Miami.
Fuck
Florida State.
no. What?
Great game though. Listen, it's up there. I'm just telling you what I think is next week's
Florida
game.
State's 1-2.
and that is
Yeah,
there's
but
2 ranked
They
opponents.
just had their
Doesn't
first
matter.
win in a year.
Listen,
In a
that's-
whole year.
Okay, that's great, but it's only been 3-4 games. Relax. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, the ACC is going to be in it in the end. It's going to be one of these teams: Clemson, Miami, Florida State. Maybe we'll see. I think Florida State's not going to be in the Final Four, but they have the chance to play. Spoiler too, if they play Clemson again, who knows?
The
in
winner of
championship game.
how about this? The loser of West Virginia TCU will be better than Florida State at the end of the year.
I mean, that's possible. I'm not going to
It's
say that sounds
it's
bad.
definite.
I'll tell you this: upset alert. Watch Utah playing Stanford. Stanford's on a roll right now. They started playing bad at the start of the year, but they're actually looking up. I don't know why they have Bryce Love in the Heisman talk.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
A
They lost to them.
lot of love
Too
for
much.
love.
Yeah, I thought there was some bias over there. Watch out. We talked about this. Washington State playing Oregon next week. Watch that upset alert potential. I think Washington State, this is the saying, are they the real deal? This is a game that they have to win. This is a game that they usually have a letdown in, something like this, after a big win like they had against USC. That happens a lot to teams like Cal, and Cal's playing Washington next week. That's going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to that
I think
game.
Oregon's still good. I mean, they had one.
4-1.
I think Royce Freeman's a badass. I think they still have a lot of talent carried over.
But they're 1 year removed from what? They were like 3-8 last year or whatever.
Right,
so they're 1 year removed from that.
Right.
And I think Washington State has much bigger problems in the future. They got to face Stanford. I looked at their schedule earlier. They have a real tough road to hoe up ahead.
If Tyler Huntley's playing, it's gonna be a rough one.
Well,
that
yeah, I mean,
badass.
Washington's got listen to this. Washington plays Cal, Arizona State, UCLA, Oregon, Stanford, Utah, Washington State. I mean, that is a ridiculous.
Now we're talking about Washington, not Washington State.
Correct.
Right?
We're talking about the Huskies, who are the number 6th ranked team in the country right now. So they can get in the Final Four. They got to win out to do that. That's not an easy schedule to win out against. That Washington State game.
That's gonna be a great game.
That's
it.
it.
End of the year.
That's gonna be a great game. But that's farther away. That's like Thanksgiving.
Now we do have Michigan State versus Michigan.
Hey,
that's a big one, right?
I'll have to watch that game. Unfortunately, I hate Big Ten football, but yes, I will be watching that game.
The wifey,
the wife is
Mrs. Fantetti.
She thinks she's saying there's a chance that Michigan State can beat Michigan.
Hey, I'll be rooting for Michigan State for real.
Really?
That game, absolutely.
So if you want the upset, I
yeah.
just can't root for Michigan, so I'll be going for Michigan State too.
Texas A&M
Alabama?
playing Alabama
Yeah.
is going to be an interesting game because I feel like they got not a lot to lose.
It's
in a
at
weird
College
way.
Station.
Yeah, they're 4-1, but I feel like they still feel like their backs are against the wall.
No, I like that
a bit.
Here's the thing: people think this game's going to turn out the exact same way the Ole Miss game last night against Alabama was, because everyone thinks, "Ooh, Ole Miss will give Alabama problems." I thought they would. I said it last week on this podcast. I was wrong. Texas A&M have a shot playing
back
better.
that up. What'd you say?
Yeah, can we snip that out and replay it later?
I said I remember. I said Ole Miss played
I'm gonna
Alabama.
cut that clip out.
Listen, put it on Twitter at least and tag
I'm gonna
me.
put it on repeat.
Put it on the new soundboard and we'll do it. I was wrong.
It's the first time I've said that on this podcast and I've been wrong. I wish you guys would do that for once. Anyway, point is, that's a great game. I think TCU West Virginia is probably the second best game of the week. But I do have one quick question I want to ask you. I forgot to lay this out when you talked about Butch Jones. Maybe you were getting at this. They were talking about candidates to replace him if they had him. And the top 5 they had.
Les Miles.
I have a couple. Les Miles was on there.
Les Miles, yeah.
Chip Kelly was on there.
I'd rather have Les Miles if I were.
They said Bobby Petrino is available. I don't know why he leaves Louisville. Unless he leaves Louisville when Lamar Jackson leaves this year.
Probably.
Anybody else out there, though, you guys think would be up? Ed Orgeron might try to get the job.
Yeah. He'll somehow make his way on there.
I'm trying to think who's the drifting coaches out there
mean.
like Les Miles that are just like,
Well,
kind of
Kelly.
forget.
What about our boy at FAU? He might try to take another,
no, they don't
take
want
another
him
step
back.
up.
They don't want him back. John Gruden was on the list.
He's on every list,
That's
pro
true.
and college.
No, yeah, he's not going to go to college. He'll go to pro.
Maybe Brian
Anybody
Kelly once he gets fired.
Ooh, once he gets
yeah.
fired.
Well,
wow, there's a
I don't know,
prediction.
man. Notre Dame's doing pretty good now. They're ranked number 22. They're 4-1.
They had a big win against Michigan State, which I thought they were going to lose.
Yeah, they
actually.
destroyed Michigan State.
They are not that good.
But there's other ones that are coaching at other schools where they could leave. We just, it doesn't just have to be available
What about
coaches.
Cliff Kingsbury? He got fired.
They say-
just
Oh, yeah.
lost.
Cliff Kingsbury, he's on the hot seat. He might get
Yeah.
fired this year.
And just
Who
last
else,
year,
though,
he
they
was like
talk
the
about?
golden boy.
He's too chill, bro.
Yeah.
He's too chill.
Don't sleep on Scott Frost. Just took the job at UCF. Was a former Oregon offensive coordinator under when Marcus Mariota was there. I wouldn't be surprised if people were going after him, but it's hard to leave a school. You're just there for a year. But if the money's right, sometimes you do.
They probably
Scott
kicked
Frost is a candidate they're actually talking about to go to Tennessee.
They probably kicked the tires on Charlie Strong.
They probably did.
When the Swamp Donkey gets fired this year.
Definitely. That's
Coach
not
McElwain.
Nah,
Even if they have a bad season, if they lose out, he can't be blamed
he's
for
making-
you guys-
9 players
he's
being
producing
suspended.
caviar wins out of hot
Getting
dogs.
felony
He's doing good
charges
job.
against them.
Exactly.
Gator fans have the shortest leash for their QB
No.
or for their coach.
I don't. I think he should stay no matter what happens.
No
I
matter
agree.
what happens.
Yeah.
So if
This
he
year.
waves his dick out on the
Who,
field,
Swamp Donkey or something should stay?
Even more so then. If you,
Who are you
yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Who are you
Good
talking
point.
about?
I'm talking about McElwain.
McElwain. Okay, good. That's what I'm talking about.
So
He should stay no matter what. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no reason. Listen to this. I just want to float this out for the locals, especially, and for you guys, because it gets you going. I know you guys will love this. The other guy raised in that conversation?
T. Martin.
No, but I like that's my
He's
pick.
in the pro game,
That's
right?
my pick. No.
He's like offensive coordinator somewhere.
No, he's quarterback coach, offensive coordinator for USC. But Greg Schiano was on the list.
Oh,
Just saying. You don't want a piece of that, Tennessee. Don't do it. Anyway,
No,
I
you
just
don't
want to make
want
sure
that.
I had to raise that for all the locals
Yeah.
because we know what that's like.
He'd be a great
toes on the line.
He'd be a great defensive coordinator.
That's
but
what he's doing at Ohio State, isn't he?
Yep.
So
Yep.
Yeah,
He can
just
stay
shut
there.
out last night too.
Yep.
No, he's good on the discipline side. I think you need one of your coordinators to be a super hardcore disciplinarian.
True.
Just doesn't work for grown men in the NFL. It just doesn't work.
It just really
No,
doesn't.
hell no. it
Now,
doesn't work.
before we close out, you guys want to talk about your Heisman picks? I kind of told you
Yeah.
mine. I didn't hear from you
We
guys.
already touched on it, but
I said
wanna
just you guys. I know you guys are all about Barkley, which is good because he's a great player.
he well,
2 on my list. Lamar Jackson 3, and I got Baker 1 still. With the off week, he still keeps the number 1 spot.
There's a guy out of what's the guy out of San Diego, the running back.
Yeah, took over for Pumphrey.
Rashad Penny.
Yeah, Penny. Yeah, he might be up there. Let me take a little look.
Mason Rudolph had something impressive go on.
Yeah, but he dropped because they lost to TCU.
I know,
the fact that he won yesterday keeps him in the race, but he'll finish number 8
with a minute 17 left or something like that. Bryce Love, Jalen Hurts is interesting.
Nah,
you talked about that from day one.
I think he's look.
They're steamrolling teams. They got to play somebody good. That's all. We'll see how he does against Texas A&M. But his stats throwing the football are just not impressive enough to probably give him the Heisman. That's the problem.
He's not versatile enough. Like Steve was talking about earlier. You got to be able to do everything. You got to throw and you got to rush.
Well, are we doing who I think should actually be there or who I think will win?
Both. Do whatever you want.
Yeah,
that's why I said Saquon Barkley's 2. He's probably the best. I'm telling you what I think.
Because I think Jalen Hurts will be voted in there because he's on a winning team.
Oh, so he'll make like the final.
But I don't think he should be on there.
So he'll get the invite to NYC. You're saying?
Right now, I would say. Who do you got? I mean, like
I told you,
Luke
mine right
Falk
now.
will get hated on because he's in a system. And he's West Coast, which is a little bit harder.
Which is why he'll be a top 5 pick probably in the draft because they like to draft quarterbacks like that.
He's
good though, man.
Everybody's on Sam Darnold's nuts.
I'm not.
Not anymore.
But I've been saying that from day one of this podcast.
Big media was.
Big media definitely hyped him up. The West Coast bias.
I got Barkley, Mayfield, Jackson. I got Jackson 2.
Yeah. So yours is like mine, but just different order.
Yeah, I'm looking down this list.
I wouldn't put Luke Falk there yet. I think it's a little early.
I'm going to put Ed Oliver on there because I always want a defensive guy to just actually show up from Houston.
Well, you know what else I'm surprised about? No one talks about. He was in the running last year. Is Jake Browning from Washington.
He had a good game yesterday.
Number 6 team in the country, consistent, good player. He'll be that guy who's like that 3rd-round pick in the NFL draft. He'll probably end up being the best quarterback out of all the people that are there.
Right.
It's funny he doesn't get enough love. And again,
what about Kelly Bryant?
I talked about him already. He's in my top 5.
Okay,
but
settle down.
Browning, I'm saying the problem with players like this, and we talked about this, I think, a little bit ago, is just that those guys that play at 10 o'clock at night on the West Coast, people are out on a Saturday, or they've been watching football, they don't want to watch a late night game. Browning gets pushed aside sometimes.
I think of the PTI guys and the way they talk about West Coast late games, and they're like, oh, I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. I mean. You know, like I think of those as like every writer that has a vote. You know,
that Texas Tech Oklahoma State game was late last night.
So that's why I say like the highlights dictate a lot because of what people are digesting, especially an older crowd that's a Heisman voters, which is a bunch of journalists, basically.
Yeah.
Mostly
and former winners.
Yeah, but that's like, 40 of them right now that are alive?
At least. But it makes up 80% of the pool that picks the Heisman.
80%
really?
is 80%
the Heisman? Of the pool of the Heisman pickers are writers.
But even
writers. I thought you were saying we're former.
Yeah,
we misunderstood.
You definitely.
We thought you meant like former players.
No, I mean that's
that makes
where
sense.
the crux of it comes from.
Well,
guys who it's their job, they're paid to make sure they follow the games. I'm saying the players don't have.
No, it's confusing because the last thing I said was the Heisman
that's okay.
winners.
Get on my level.
So I feel like you have a lot of guys that go to sleep early.
Yes.
And you watch the highlights, and I don't think they digest it like we do. Where we look it up on our phone the next morning probably, or iPad or whatever, and you can search out better highlights or better information or better recap.
Yes.
Where a lot of them are probably still a TV generation that just wait for it to come to them.
Well, I agree.
Kind of thing.
And the other thing that I know happens a lot is if they didn't win like some type of like a dramatic win and they just see the score where it was a blowout, that guy had good stats, and they just say, okay, his stats were good, but they don't pay attention to what the player did, or they didn't follow up or watch anything.
But in all fairness,
they won't care about these games unless it came down to like a Hail Mary at the end or something like that.
It's impossible for them to watch every single game.
It's 130 Division I teams.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Same for us.
But I'll tell you my picks. It's one and the same. Who I think should win and who I think will win is Saquon Barkley. At this point,
it's like
barring injury. Yeah, barring injury, it's gonna be Saquon Barkley. I got Baker Mayfield second, and I got Lamar Jackson third.
And now,
this point.
Do you have Kelly Bryant if you had to go one
sure,
or two more spots?
I'll throw him in there. Kelly Bryant and Quentin Flowers, of course. Got to throw some love for the hometown boy.
By the way, throwing some love, Mike Weber back on the field, 3 touchdowns against Rutgers yesterday.
Yeah, it's like a backup.
Rutgers, come on.
He started the game, had 3 touchdowns.
Basically a backup. I mean, who they play?
He had 3 touchdowns, 27 yards. I'm just glad to see him back there.
J.K. Simmons Robbins.
Big Mike Weber fan. I'm glad he's doing well. Hope he gets better.
Yeah, he's behind J.K., but yeah, he's fine.
Is.
Yeah.
And they're friends, too, which is funny. Really close friends.
What can you be in this situation if you're you
both
can't be
from
like,
Detroit?
Fuck you, bro.
Same,
like,
man.
Hey,
Anyway,
they might start both of them at
Wishbone.
Pro set back. Yeah,
Yeah, do a wishbone.
They should. I don't know if they're both going to come out after this year, but we'll see. I know Mike can't because of his injury. He'll probably be back next year.
No, he's got the hamstring, man. I'm telling you, that is the lingering injury.
That's why Carry-On shouldn't be playing.
That's why, but wide receivers, if you do a NFL draft fantasy-wise and you see that a wide receiver has the hammy injury in preseason, stay away. I'd stay away.
Yep. Right before, I know we're actually short on time. I just want to know, how is your college football fantasy team doing?
I'm number 1, baby.
Are you still?
All right,
yeah.
All right.
Wow. The broken clock is right twice a day. I like it.
We got look at my team. I got Baker Mayfield, Saquon, Barkley,
wow.
J.K.
Nice.
J.K. Simmons Robbins, as I like to call him.
Did you get to draft like the first 5 guys in a row, or did you let everyone else draft before you?
No, man. I told you,
Jalen
Jalen Hurts went like 3rd overall.
Well, who'd you play at quarterback this week if Baker had a bye week?
Who did I play? Oh, I had to pick up
waiver wire.
Notre Dame quarterback Wimbush.
Oh, he's good. He's really good.
And so
he had a big game.
We're really TD heavy, kind of points wise. So it matters a lot. Like Barkley only got me 14.
That's good.
Well, but
that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. He didn't have enough rushing touchdowns. I agree. You should. That's why he's number 2 for me. But let me ask you this one last
Wimbush
thing.
had 3 TDs and a rushing touchdown, so that was good.
Is Jake Browning available in your league?
Who?
Jake Browning, the quarterback for Washington.
Probably not.
Oh, no.
Okay, so someone actually took him. I'm just curious if he's sitting out there. I feel like people underrate him, and they probably didn't take him in your fantasy.
No. It was weird,
those
man.
receivers they got at Washington, they
Barkley
sling that thing.
fell to me at 5. I didn't think he'd be there, but Quentin Flowers got taken before him, and
there you go.
And Jalen Hurts.
Home cooking.
He should, though.
But it's risky because
Stats
if they
money.
dropped out of the top 25, which they
them.
could have,
What are they ranked right now? Are they 18th or something?
They're up there. They're teens. Yeah.
They're gonna
They're
pop.
18th
They're
in the
gonna
country.
They're gonna get jacked up, I think.
LSU's gonna fall out. So if you had Geis or something like that, which people probably drafted.
Geis was number 1, I think.
Yeah, now you can't even play him in your league. So anyway, interesting. For those of you who do play college football fantasy league, which Law is all about.
I mean, or do it next year. It's
we should do this. Chat. I don't play fantasy though, but anything.
It's fun. It's fun because it's harder. Alabama's my defense that I basically have the whole way through.
You could probably win off that alone.
Well, I mean, you got to get a kicker, which I totally disagree with, just philosophically. And
Who'd you get?
I waiver wire guys. I get the TCU
Don't waste
guy.
the draft pick on that.
Or no, always kicker's always my last pick.
Yeah.
I got Travarius Martin Jr. out of Washington State as my wide receiver. I got Richards,
that's Falk's favorite target.
Wide receiver for Miami that just came back and looked awesome. And then Terry Godwin. Nice. UGA wide receiver, they're number 1.
Oh, he's really good.
Yeah,
he's
underrated.
Had 4 or 5 touchdowns this year already.
Yeah. I was worried about him, and I don't like guys named Terry that much usually, so I was worried about that. Well, I mean, they sound Canadian, so.
Oh my God, that's even worse. All right, we're done. Anything else? Anybody else to finish up?
No, let's go.
Let me get the.
Gotta eat some more donuts too.
Let's hit them with all the subscribe, all that stuff, while I get this music prepped up.
That's a very
guys.
good point. Listen, we're on every podcast platform you can find, but listen. 3XO Pod, find us on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Don't forget, go to iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating. We need them. We like them. Anything else, chat?
Nope.
We're done. We'll see you guys next week. Go Vols.
Go Gators.
Butch Jones is still there.
R.I.P. Butch Jones.
It's real work.